That should be that. Oh, golly. Oh, crikey. We're getting there. Nearly there. Oh, goodness me. Right, so, you should all be hearing me. I should be here. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that delay. These ones always take me longer to create than I always think. I think they're going to be quick, and then it actually turns out to take a hugely long time to actually go through the hundreds and hundreds of, okay, not quite hundreds, but like I think possibly like 40 or so various bits of news that I've grabbed, and it's not even an exhaustive list because so many things go on. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on with things. Let's crack on. We are going to go with. We're going to ignore what's in the background of this. We're going to look at the COVID stats. Oh, by the way, I might stop doing these quite so regularly because I don't think they're going to be that interesting. I'm just getting my Wacom out. Don't think they're going to be that interesting. Bit eager. They're kind of leveling out. I mean, well, we'll see. We'll keep tracing, but I think they're going to slow down. So we're sort of bouncing around here. Here's where we are. There we are. And rail is kind of, we're bouncing around really. I think we're going to just keep bouncing around based on sort of external factors. But I think given the lack of trains running and the given the lack of trains running and general other things, I think this is holiday season, possibly. Although there's a general decline in public transport use recently that's interesting. I don't know what's caused that. But let's hop forwards to kind of the zoomed in view. Rail was reaching 80%. It's now round about 75%. We're kind of rocketing, but sorry, it's around 70%. It's gone back up to 75%. So the lowest point it reached was 70. So we're kind of going between 70 and 80%, which given the state of the timetable, is not. Yeah, it's not surprising, to be honest. I'm unsurprised by this. Completely unsurprised by this. Cycling did its thing. It's still big up, and the only reason it drops is because of the fact this is a 7-day rolling average. But I think it'll rocket back up again. Road is just basically at pre-pandemic levels. Oh my goodness, yes. So that's the COVID stats. And to be honest, I think I'm just trying to remind myself if there's anything else. I think there's not. I think that's it. It's a case of let us progress the episode because there's a lot of news to get through tonight. Hello, everyone who's here. 60 or plus of you. It's a little quiet tonight. Actually, there's normally a few more. Come join us, everyone. Anyway, let's get on with it. Right. Welcome to tonight's Rail Natter. And as the Intercity 225 fades away, there it goes. That's nice. I'm just going to double check something actually while I press next on here. Unlike last time, what we're doing? Who's in? Oh, people are disappearing off the chat. Hello, yes. Oh, good. The numbers are roaring upwards. Fine. First thing I'm going to do is actually go in here and check, because I numbered the YouTube video wrong. It's not episode 110, it's episode 109, I think. But I'm going to go into my planner now to just actually double check the numbers, because, it is 109. I thought so. I've just named the YouTube episode incorrectly. I've now fixed it. So, the news. What I'm going to do is not go big face. I'm not going to go little. I'm not going to put my little face in the corner. Are we in the UK officially in Purda? Are we in Purda? Possibly, but do I care? No, because it's fine. I don't answer to Ofcom, so it's grand. Wait a minute, if I put a small face up here, hi. Maybe this will work for now. I can switch it off if I get in the way. I think I've put most of the Karens in the bottom corner. So, this is a really interesting piece that people should go and read. Charlie Herzog Young has written this, and it's a really interesting piece because there's a lot, actually, particularly in York, there's a lot of discussion about banning cars being a big problem for disabled access. I forgot to close the door, yeah. Whoops. Oh no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe Dina was running in to get something. That's fine. Hi, Dina. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting read, and it's written by someone who cares a lot about the environment and is also someone who cares a lot about disabled access. They very much have they have a dog in the fight. So go read it. It's very interesting. It's a thought-provoking piece. I see a lot of people saying that limiting car access is limiting disabled access, and I find it difficult to agree with that entirely. I don't necessarily disagree with certain implementations and issues with it, but I think this can be used. It can be used as a wedge, so-called wedge issue, to prevent better urban traffic reduction measures being put in place. So I think it's really important that we're wary of that. So yeah, very good piece. Strongly recommend everyone goes and strongly recommend everyone goes and has a read of that. It's really good. What else? What else is going on? This is in absolutely no order, and so it might make. I always try and my news is when they're shorter. I try and make them make sense. I just didn't have time to do it for this. It would have taken me another half an hour for this one. Right. The GBR HQ hunt. That's the GBR HQ hunt. Yeah, Penny Mordaunt shared this nonsense. As you can see, I mean, this whole thing is insulting. It's annoying. It makes me very angry. So here we have a kind of a mocked-up poster showing all of the, and I'm doing rabbit ears here, showing all of the places that are potentially in the running to get the headquarters, more rabbit ears, like double rabbit ears, of Great British Railways, the stupidly named new organisation that will be coming along. Basically, the new BR, but I have to say, looking worse at this point. As you can see here, such incredibly important places as the entire West of England Combined Authority. Here. What else have we got? We've got Nuneaton. Let's go in for it. Go on, Nuneaton. And I think probably the funniest one is Camborne. Everyone kind of sharing that Camborne is pretty hilarious. But also just Greater Manchester's just in there. Like yeah, the whole of Manchester should have it. I mean, Birmingham's there. There's Doncaster. You've got, and in fact, if you go in here, this is the thing that's shocking: is so much money is being spent by cash-strapped local authorities and combined authorities on this. Don't do it. Just ignore the stupid competition. Crewe is there making their thing. Fine, whatever. You've got York, obviously. Swindon, yeah, probably. It's in a stupid place for the HQ, but anyway. Derby, again, fine. But then you've got some slightly more entertaining ones like Didcot Garden Town here. Okay. And then, okay, Doncaster's not so stupid, but their graphics are, and their whole thing they're doing is some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. Whoa, dear. All these colours are just, there's so many colours on here. This is chaos. Leave some blank space. There's not enough blank space here, and this is frightening. Anyway, all the money that's being wasted. I hate competitions for government. There shouldn't be any bloody competitions. If there is a case for something, then just do it. Immediately do it. There should not be a competition for this sort of thing. And it is embarrassing because this is a really terrific way that we're starting Great British Railways. For the transition team, we're starting Great British Railways with a pathetic, insulting competition about where the headquarters are when government has already decided where they're going to be. Government already knows exactly where they're going to be going. They don't care what the competition is. This is just a tool for them to make it look like they are doing something. Before people kind of confuse me and say, oh, do you know, where is it going then? It's like, no, I'm not saying I know where it is. I'm saying government have already decided and this whole competition is a sham. It's not the same thing. Anyway, so GBRQ hunt. Oh, yes, it makes me very angry. Yes, government is obsessed with doing competitions. Richard Smith agreed. Bishop Stortford was Richard Smith's favourite. Jordan, are you saying ScotRail HQ should definitely be in Perth, not Glasgow? I quite like that, actually. That'd be quite nice. Isn't GBR all about being pathetic and insulting? Well, quite. What's the point of the vertical line here? Yeah, there isn't one, is there? It's not tremendous design. Oh, this is better than the design that Grant Shapps is currently fawning over. Anyway, if you want to talk about GBR itself, well, we'll probably have another episode coming up about like talking about what I've seen and what my perceptions of the direction that GBR is going. maybe have that episode based on a lecture I did actually last couple or a week or two ago. We'll do another episode of that because I think that'll be interesting for discussion. But yes, let's just move on. We're moving on. So, oh man, yeah. This whole segment is a bit chaotic and could have been in a better order. But there's a little abolish the Treasury segment about the spring statement. If you remember the spring statement coming out, among the spring statement there was all sorts of things going on, including the the reduction of fuel duty, the nominal reduction of fuel duty. Firstly, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. I stay in a Joseph Rowntree housing trust development. So yeah, hooray, Joseph Rowntree. Quakers, looked at the fact that the fact there's an increase in national insurance, there's a massive failure to increase benefits in line with inflation, meaning that 600,000 people will be pulled into poverty due to inaction, according to the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. Just as an FYI, that's about, what is it, 11, maybe 14%? Is that right? What was it? It's big numbers. It's basically over 10% of the population is now in poverty and can't eat. Can't afford to put food on the table and heat their home. They have to make decisions between the two. This is really not good. What is the end game here? Anyone who votes Tory, what is your end game? What was your plan? What was your plan? Because this was inevitable. This is not some crazy thing that's happened as a result of COVID. This is an inevitability that this government is decided to make these choices. They don't have to make these choices. This is what government is for, acting as an umbrella when it starts raining. And the analogy I like to talk about austerity and austerity politics is not about it's not about fixing the roof when the sun is shining. It's about selling the roof while the sun is shining. So when it rains, you get very wet, and everyone gets wet. Very few people can stay dry if your house hasn't got a roof. Anyway, let's zoom in on this because there's a particularly interesting graphic here showing the impact of the decisions made at the spring statement, and you can just see what this means on average for income change. People who are the worst off have about a 5% reduction in their income per year. 2.5% reduction for the people in the second lowest decile, the third lowest decile. So basically, everyone below the 50th, the bottom 5 deciles of income are all getting a chop. And yes, the highest income people are losing a tiny amount, but they don't care because they earn so much that it doesn't matter to them. Whereas the people in the lowest, this should not look like this. It should not look like this. It should be mirrored about the zero axis. And the people in the lowest should be doing the best at this point. Bad times. And that's not where it starts either. So here is the fuel duty as an example of the impact of fuel duty. This is an extreme example, but it gives an idea of why I say fuel duty and why it's right to say that fuel duty is a tool to hit the poorest, and dropping it is not the way you do that. Actually, cutting fuel duty is a redistribution of money towards the rich. Why do I say that? Because if fuel duty was, say, just completely removed for 6 months, over that period, this is Alex Chapman's tweet, very nice little bit of sums here. Alex Chapman of the... Alex, are you from the NEF? I think you're from the NEF, the New Economics Foundation. So, over that period, government would transfer 680 million to the poorest 20% of UK households, okay, and they'd transfer 3.1 billion to the richest, 20%. So the poorest would get quite a lot less than the richest, which is the equivalent of an active decision to redistribute wealth to the richest. And as pointing out, cuts to fuel duty are among the most regressive policies that could be passed. So this is not. This is much as if you ignore. I should have put this on because it would have continued to make us angry. Much as Labour's stupid bloody tweet about fuel duty and fuel and protesters was suggesting otherwise, it is not true. Fuel costs are things that impact on higher earners much more than they impact on low earners. So yes. And this is true. It's not just the UK that's done this. Actually, similar problems have happened across Europe. They're huge. The fuel tax cuts are skewed towards the rich, and this is what a study has specifically found. So this is not me just making it up. All the studies that's happening across Europe all the studies are pointing out that, if you reduce fuel tax, you are in fact essentially cutting tax for the rich, which is, let's face it, not a very good idea. And indeed, yeah, here we go. So here's the NEF just pointing out that 7% of the benefit of the fuel duty cut goes to the poorest, and 33% goes to the richest households. So this is just kind of expanding on Alex's point earlier, the Campaign for Better Transport pointing this out. So the average £1.80 to households in the bottom 20% of earners, and £8.20 a month to households in the top 20%. The point being, rich people use more fuel because they drive around without refrain. So they are getting a massive tax. So what to do is provide money to... So basically, what if you're saying, but you are still providing a benefit to those poor people, what are you on about? As some idiot Tory did on Twitter to me. Butthurt, maybe. Basically, the point is that money the money that you're giving in fuel duty could go in a more targeted way. You could pick a better, more progressive form of relief that isn't the fuel duty freeze, or isn't the fuel duty reduction in this case. So, yeah, hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. Yeah, indeed. Lots of issues. Lots and lots of issues. Why? Well, Treasury are hopeless. If you thought Treasury had a plan and weren't just idiots, then I'm sorry to burst that bubble. So, yeah, Graham, you're right as well. Yeah, richer people generally drive newer gas-guzzling SUV cars as well. So, 2 tweets released in fairly quick succession, a week and a bit apart, I think. Here, both from Her Majesty's Treasury. The first one, the Chancellor will launch a new Efficiency and Value for Money Committee to cut $5.5 billion of wasteful spending across government. What? Firstly, $5.5 billion is just nothing. Secondly, by what measure is... I tweeted about this the other day. We have an obsession, and unfortunately, Daily Mail readers have an obsession with the idea that there's wasteful spending in government. And the NHS, it comes from a lot. Oh, wasteful spending in the NHS. Oh, the NHS is great, but they waste so much money. Do they? Because if you put systems in place to maybe not result in that inverted commas wastage, is that wastage, or is that actually spare capacity that allows the NHS to function efficiently? Waste might seem like waste if you have absolutely no understanding of the way that systems and major complex organisations work. But actually, that $5.5 billion of wasteful spending might actually mean that more people get access to their benefits more easily, for example. Or it might mean that trains run better. Or it might mean that electricity works better. All these sort of fundamental things. And then, of course, the irony is that in having just announced this bollocks Efficiency and Value for Money Committee, within 2 weeks, the Treasury also announced that they're going to mint an NFT, a non-fungible token, which is basically crypto bullshit. It's made up. It's just made up. It's made up. It's nonsense. It's where you put a bitmap on the blockchain, and that somehow means that it costs a certain number of Ethereum, and you pay that. And all of it's made up, and it's all based on a bubble that's already burst. It's burst already. Go listen to Trash Future. It's already burst, and the Treasury are doing stuff to do with blockchain, Bitcoin, and crypto, and NFTs, and what the hell are they doing? So if you want to cut waste, let me tell you what the first thing to do. Abolish the Treasury. Sack everyone in it, literally everyone. They can reapply and go elsewhere in the civil service, fine, but sack them. Don't redeploy them, sack them, and just destroy that. Just honestly demolish the building that it's in, take those bricks and just distribute them around the rest of the country for other people to use in construction elsewhere. Just honestly, just flatten it, torch it. Treasury needs to be not just politely renamed. No, it needs to be eviscerated. It needs to be absolutely Thanos'd off the face of the planet. Anyway, yeah, there we go. And to end on this, we're going to do a quick flick through and talk about. We are going to talk about lots of Gareth Williams is rightly talking about wasteful spending includes spare capacity in the NHS. Absolutely, yes. So, yes, come rally, we're going to sing the International. Right, so, Jen MacArthur posted about the fact, do you remember the National Infrastructure Commission? One of my various nemesis organisations, part of Treasury, by the way. But they, weirdly, in a weird sort of infighty situation, they've been marking the government's homework a little bit. And so let's go to their little website they created. There's a little thread that Jen did that's really good, a good little summary. But the National Infrastructure Commission did a little page. So let's have a flick through here. So it's about progress. They've done their little markup, their little progress review 2022. Actually, Gareth Williams makes an excellent suggestion, which is to use the Treasury building for the GBR HQ. Possibly. That's the only thing I would accept as an alternative use other than Thanosing it. So let's have a read through this little infrastructure progress review 2022. How is government delivering on its commitments to transform the UK's infrastructure? In the autumn spending review, this is the autumn spend, they've not looked at spring. Government committed to spend 100 billion on the UK's infrastructure over the next 3 years. Great, okay, fine. This increased funding is welcome, but spending public money effectively requires sound strategy and robust plans for delivery. So how is government doing on this? So here's how they start, because they don't want to get abolished like various groups do when they start criticising governments, particularly these ones. Some good achievements. There are real areas of progress. Okay, let's see. The UK Infrastructure Bank has been established and is already making deals. Okay, citation needed on this having any improvement or value to anything at all. Great. Gigabit broadband coverage continues to accelerate rapidly and now reaches over 65% of premises. Okay, fine. It's just some targets and we're going to reach those. Great. That's good. That's fine. Renewable electricity capacity has increased and government has committed to hold contract auctions every year to grow it further. Okay, probably we're going to reach that by 2030, 60% of generation. Fine. Yeah, okay, great. Marvellous. Okay, good. But that's the easy stuff. We've done that. We've kind of solved those problems already. But overall, it's been a year of slow progress. Government is not currently on track to deliver infrastructure changes required to hit net zero by 2050, level up the UK, or improve our climate resilience. Well, and you guys, the NIC, you've contributed to this with your doing exactly what Treasury told you to do reports about railways. So, anyway, here we are. Decarbonising heating is one good example. Particularly given the war in Ukraine, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, wouldn't it be great if we'd actually solved this problem? So actual and potential emissions in the government's net zero delivery pathways, what this graph is saying is like, I just have no idea what this is saying. Heating and buildings power, this is what's supposed to be happening. These are the emissions and these are the scenarios. That's not very helpful. They're pointing out, I don't know what they're basically, I don't exactly know what this graph is saying, but essentially, government's done a dreadful job on this. There's a better graph somewhere else, actually, that someone else showed about how little, basically, as soon as the coalition government arrived and they cancelled they just cancelled the scheme to insulate homes, the amount just dropped to basically zero. Did I put this in as news previously? I think I might have, didn't I? Anyway, flood resilience, the investment in flood defence has doubled and policies have been revised, but government has yet to define long-term targets for flood resilience. Until it does so, they're stuffed. EV charging infrastructure, this is something I think I've talked about. I can't remember, I talked about it recently with someone, I can't remember who. And here you go, total disaster. So we've done the number of publicly available charge points. It needs to reach, by kind of 2030, it needs to be reaching the best part of kind of 3 to 500,000. And 3 to 500,000, and currently we are at like 25,000. It's just pathetic. And this isn't just installing the chargers, this is totally reconstructing distribution networks across the country and probably rejigging the transmission network a bit as well. So, yeah, not great at all. So not only are EVs horrendously polluting in their manufacture, but also we aren't building infrastructure to allow them to work, because we are not. It's just we're just hopelessly behind. So EVs are not only are they not the future, but they're being denied the chance to become the future, even if they were. So not great. Urban transport. Government's yet to give local councils the tools to help deliver levelling up when it comes to transport links. Okay, fine, whatever. While steps to widen devolution to more areas are welcome, government must do more to unlock tangible improvements to local infrastructure. There are currently 15 separate pots of funding for transport which local authorities can bid. It's that bidding, that competition thing again. Oh my goodness. We need to shift away from competitive bidding between councils from multiple funding pots towards long-term devolved funding settlements, and this should happen far quicker than the 8-year timeframe government has suggested. Well, they're being brutal about that, but why is that at the end and not the headline? Priorities. What are the priorities? There's some pictures. Oh, I'm scrolling and things are happening. Transforming transport, yes. Charging points, no. Obsession with fucking cars, Jesus. Makes me very angry. More competitive. Move away from competitive bidding for short-term funding pots and rapidly devolve 5-year funding settlements in more places. Yeah, fine. Where are we going next? Energy efficiency. Okay, do more homes. Get rid of greenhouse gas. Publish a detailed plan to deliver at least the 5 million tons of CO2 per year of engineered removals by 2030 to address the hardest sectors to abate. It's not real. You're not going to be able to do that. This is why someone was just who was saying someone was saying about net zero being just a load of rubbish. It needs to be just zero, just actual zero. The idea that we're going to remove that much, just do policy that removes that much. Just do policies that you can just increase fuel duty by a certain amount. You know, drive modal shift. You can do these changes. You don't. Oh my goodness me, unbelievable. What else? Recycling. More recycling. Right. Okay. I don't really care about recycling. Recycling is important, but it's not the major thing. It's more flood resilience. Okay, yeah, do a policy of flood resilience. Absolutely. Water conservation. Okay, fine. Probably that can make a difference. Actually, it's another thing. It's an easy thing that we've done very well. Digital, wireless connectivity, mobile network. Yeah, whatever. Review regulators' duties. Building on the publication of the economic regulation paper to complete. I don't care about that. It's probably important. IFG at me. Testing resilience. Do more stress testing. National resilience strategy. Okay, fine. Read the full review online. Yeah, fine. Okay. Right. So that's all that. Jen did a far quicker, more succinct representation. But yeah, that website is it's worth having a flick through to understand. And the thing about devolution is fine. And then Jonathan Port is going to summarize for us, which is kind of undermining all the stuff that you hear about. So Will Tanner and like Harry Cole and a bunch of like neolib vampires were like, oh my goodness, Rishi Sunak is braced for a £50 billion interest bill in 2021-22 on the UK's 2.2 trillion national debt. Oh, scary. And then Jonathan Porter sums up what that actually means from an economic perspective is that the UK will be paying about 2% interest at a time when inflation is running at well over 5%. So our debt will be shrinking rapidly compared to our income. Yeah, basically, this is why caring about GDP to debt ratio is just a fool's game. Don't do that. So, Lin Man Fu isn't happy at my idea of demolishing the Treasury building. Well, you need to look more closely at the problems that we have in having a treasury that will exist in any way whatsoever. Slow Your Poke points out that electric vehicles take up valuable lithium that would be far better used staying in the ground. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Will Norman here is the Cycling and Walking Active Travel Commissioner for London, pointing out that Santander cycles, the bikes, the Livingston bikes, celebrate famous anti-Semite Livingston, who also goes alongside other famous anti-Semite Boris Johnson. 6 record-breaking months in a row with more than 750,000 hires in February, the most hires ever. Sarge making the point that micro-hires is a substantial part of the future. If you have good micro-hire, whether it's e-scooters or bicycles, then yes, it's then this is good. This is good. So more of this. There should be funds, not competitions, but just funds. There should be a huge pot of money for councils, local councils, rural councils to do these schemes. Just throw money at this because it's worth it. This is good. This is last mile, and then the transport systems, public transport systems, then work better. This is good stuff. Talking of the opposite of what I just said, more HS2 slashing. Hooray! So the Goldborn link this is my quote here. Rob Hackerman, Hackamian. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Rob, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. You do listen occasionally. I think this is my quote again. The NC enjoys quoting me. Hi everyone at New Civil Engineer. Yeah, hi. Engineers warn cancelling the Goldborn link hobbles the value of high-speed rail network. Yes, I do say that because it will. It's a bit of back and forth discussion of whether the Goldborn link is going to make it into the HS2 hybrid bill, the Phase 2B hybrid bill. Phase 2B, yeah, the last bit. Yes, there's a potential that it's getting pulled out because there's someone. No, there's not. Some people are saying because of the union connectivity. William Barter. Hello, William. I have a lot of time for William, but you're being far too kind to government. And I know you were just kind of playing devil's advocate, but it came across as naive. You're not being naive, but it came across to anyone kind of look. It looks like you're suggesting government is not just cancelling this because they feel like they can and because there's a local election coming up. May is local election season. They want to look like they're cancelling HS2 because they feel after that by-election result they had where they thought that it was HS2 when actually it was because all of their core has now gone Lib Dem. Those Tories who think it's because of HS2 want to make HS2 go away. Hence the IRP, hence this cutting the Goulburn link. They're using it. It's pork barrel politics. So nothing good will come afterwards. And if they think they've got away with chopping this now for the pork barrel politics, it just won't come back. They are not going to bring back an extended version out of the Union Connectivity Review, which obviously Sir Peter Hendy alluded to. I don't think that's coming back. We'll see. It's nothing's concrete yet, but I will believe the worst and then be pleased if something slightly less bad than the worst happens. So yeah, this is the link, by the way. For those who don't know, the Goulburn link is the bit that bypasses like joins kind of Winsford, north of Winsford, kind of skips all that and joins north, avoids Warrington, Winsford, and Weaver Junction, and kind of all that bit, all that 2-track gubbins, and comes in further north of that. And so the fast trains are kind of connect to the West Coast Main Line, avoiding a very congested bit of rail of West Coast Main Line. So yes. Anyway. So it's bad if it gets chopped, but it'll get chopped anyway at some point. Until the Tories get voted out, expect it all to get chopped. And frankly, I don't hold much of a candle to Labour doing anything different either at this point. Some more news. Hello, CAF. You can't build trains that work, certainly when it comes to the Birmingham trams. Yes, these don't work. They're broken. They're cracked. Why are they disintegrating? Why? Well, the question I have is, why is Birmingham's mass transit system being wrecked up by trams that are cheap rubbish? They shouldn't be. They've run around the world, but lots of other places are reporting problems with them as well, globally. So what's going on, CAF? Fix the problem, because otherwise you're going to have people like me who have no power, but also people who do have power not buying things from you ever again. So what the hell is going on with this? The idea that an entire mass transit system is being switched off, that's not a good way to get people to rely on the mass transit system. I cannot fathom how angry this makes me that the system is being switched off as frequently as it is because their crap trams are falling to bits. Just like really not good enough. Lots of errors being made. I think there are people who've been on client side procuring these trains need to have a little look at whether they had gone for, if they just went for cost over quality, then they hold some responsibility. But come on, this is disappointing. CAF, your Airbus trains, I've flown the flag for them. Your Airbus trams, I've flown the flag for before. But come on, not good. So yeah, everyone who's in Brum and generally across the West Midlands suffering from this, commiserations, bad times. So, does anyone remember when we were talking about the future GBR? I think it was GBR Rail Natter episode 1. We were talking about the good things that Transport for Wales have been doing. Trafnidiaeth Cymru have been doing even better things. So I put up some of their imagery because I think their wayfinding language is fantastic. It looks absolutely terrific. I really, really like it. And you'll notice that there's bus integration. There's like bus integration hinted down here. You remember our little hint? Well, they're doing the good things. They're making it real. Ish. Transport Wales are. Thanks, Gareth, by the way, for throwing this at me. It's very good. Yes, Transport for Wales, or rather the Welsh Assembly Government, or the Welsh Government. They're not the Welsh Assembly Government anymore. They've done a Scottish Executive and renamed themselves to just the Welsh Government, and rightly so. The Welsh Government are it's a consultation. Go search Transport for Wales consultation or Welsh Government One Network, One Timetable, One Ticket consultation, because they want Welsh people. Your opinion is sought. Go and tell the Welsh Government how good an idea this is. It's a very, very good idea, which is basically the idea the whole thing is integrated. Integrate the whole thing. It's a very good idea. If they do this, it'll be very exciting. It'll be very good. It's a thing that we should have done in this country in the 1940s, and we did not. We attempted it, and then it kind of didn't work. for all sorts of reasons. So this is fantastic, and I want to explore. Anyone from there are a few people who are from Transport for Wales who watch. All of you lovely Transport for Wales people. Once the cooldown period after the work that I've sent you is cooled down, because I've been doing some work for Transport for Wales recently. Once that's all simmered and all the commercial stuff is happy, come shout at me. And anyone who's in charge of this consultation and wants to explain what it's about, I'd love to have you on to just talk about the consultation. Come join. It'd be great. It'd be a really good rail nat, because this is exciting. This is what Scotland has yet to do and hasn't bothered to do yet. If Wales can do it first, that's really fantastic. Very exciting. And justifies all of our TFW episodes we've been doing. What else? Oh, the Dutch broke the trains. Oh, I have to get rid of my face as well. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of my face. Yeah, the Dutch broke the trains. I have honestly no idea why this happened. I don't understand what was happening. There were some big threads going on Twitter, and I was really busy and stressed, so I didn't pay any attention to it. But I can tell you that the Netherlands broke their trains. I'm presuming they're fixed again. It was only for a day or half a day or whatever. But yes, this was bad. Who can tell? People in the chat, what was going on? Yes, no. We'll find out. I'll come back to it with Big Face momentarily. But anyway, yeah, the Netherlands lost their railways briefly from a big train control system failure. Not so great. Anyway, let's get on. No, that was Big Face. You saw Big Face briefly. Hello, it's Big Face. I'll get rid of that again. Oh, you know what I've not done? Oh. There we are. It's my illuminated Big Face. Slightly better, isn't it? Oh, very bright though. Anyway, let's get rid of that. So, what else? Tracy Brabin is not pulling her punches at all. Kevin Tennant is saying it'd be interesting to know how joined up the Welsh proposals really are and if the overall strategy will be brought together. Yeah, me too. I think it is. I'm interested to see the details, so let's see. But, right, so... and this is related to buses because we've talked about the fact that bus back better has been obliterated by Treasury, but now the bus stuff is becoming it's becoming more competition. So there's more competitions. So yes, it's just more competitions and more shafting of the North. So here's Tracy Brabin and Dan Jarvis being very unhappy about the fact that buses are just being stripped of funding more and more. It's just a continued bus calamity. Yeah, exactly. And this is the key phrase, which is, and I absolutely agree with Tracy on this one, as you know, because I said it earlier in this episode. Endless beauty contests to access money from government for essential services are not the way to level up the North. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and some happier and, should I say, lighter news. There we go. Lovely. Some people are saying that Brabin was a terrible MP for Batley and Spen. That's interesting. Well, I think she's probably better suited to mayoral duties actually than it's slightly more personality, slightly less doing stuff than a constituency MP. Oh, Emas, but lighter. Here is friend of the show. I think this is Noel. Noel, this is you. I think friend of the show, Noel Dolphin here. Noel, you're due on. You need to find an excuse to come to join us on a rail natter. You need to just find an excuse. There's an arrow pointing at friend of the show, Noel Dolphin, because just three people lifting up an OLE mast, a big old OLE king post here, large part steel, because it's not steel. It's made of a composite of some kind. Look at this; it's exciting. And I'm interested to know. So most of the reason that the piles are deep on an OLE mast are not because of the mast. So this bit, the stuff that's under the ground here. So you've got. It's easier if I do this, isn't it? You've got your OLE mast, right? You've got your OLE mast. It looks like this, and then there's a little plate, and then there's another little plate. I've exaggerated the gap, and you put some bolts through that little plate, and that plate here is attached to a big old pile that usually looks something like this if it's on Great Western Electrification. Big old pile that's going under the ground, and the ground is probably about here. There's the ground. Yeah, there's the ground. There's ground level. And this pile here is not actually because of the mass of the king post of the OLE. It's because of all the forces going in different directions. Forces. If you can imagine, the wires are doing this. There's the wires. They're doing this. There's our catenary, dreadfully drawn. The wires doing this, and it's the forces pulling, and also the wind blowing the thing around, rather than the mass of the thing itself. But they wouldn't have done this for no reason, and also it means you can move lots more of them around more easily. You can maneuver them. You can lift them into place more easily. So it's cool. This is good news. It means you can carry loads more of them around. It's still good news. If it, and allegedly the carbon the carbon footprint of these is lower than a steel one. So I'm quite excited about this. Let's see more. Noel, send me thoughts on the. It wasn't actually Noel was there because he just likes getting involved in this stuff. But I think this is that actually Noel? Noel, there was a picture of you, but maybe that isn't you, because Noel, you did take a picture, Noel, didn't you? But maybe that isn't you. Maybe these are just the people from, is it Vanguard? Basically, if you're in charge of this, or you know someone who's in charge of this, it'd be great to chat about it again, because it looks fun. Light oily masts, good news. Oh, yeah. Crossrail 2. Does anyone remember Crossrail 2? It's just some fun little tidbit. I told you this is going to be a chaotic news episode because we're going to be bouncing all over the place. The British Library's mammoth extension includes major Crossrail 2 provisions. Yes, it does, because, thanks to Ian Visits, thanks Ian, we got a nice view of, here's the British Library site here. This sort of, this bit that kind of goes around here and then around there. And kind of around here. That's the abeyance there, the British Library abeyance, within which they have to leave space for the connections from... so connecting into... So specifically here, you can see there's a connection there down into the stairwell that goes down into the platforms for the Thameslink platforms. So there's a set of stairs. Now, what I want to know is, are those stairs ever used? Because do people come in that side? I've never come into that side of Thameslink, but is that connecting up into like the underground concourse? I've never come into the Thameslink platforms that side. I've never even paid attention if that's a way you can. But I presume they are, because that's shown in like that exists already. Likewise, a new kind of lower concourse, and then a connection up into the general sort of King's Cross St Pancras underground complex. It means more cavernous labyrinth, because that then connects in with a massive set of elevators, then some more escalators to then get down onto Crossrail 2 platform level, and there's more escalators to get back up again at the other end, and then even more to get up into the underground system. There's more connecting to the underground as well, the interchange to Northern and Victoria Line. So there's all this stuff. What an exciting labyrinth it will be under here, which is very fun. That connection is exit only during peak hours, you recall. They might change that then. They might change it to open all hours if and when Crossrail 2 appears. I mean, Crossrail 2 is like a distant glint in the eye at the moment because of government. Government hates TfL. Because TfL are persona non grata at the moment within government, because they work, and anything that works. One thing hopefully everyone's learned is that stuff that functions and works has to be dismantled. That's the current ethos of this government, and indeed has been the ideological ethos of Conservative governments for a very long time. If it works, you have to dismantle. If it's the state running a thing and it works, you have to dismantle it. Absolutely critical that you dismantle it and destroy it. Can't be seen to be functioning at all. So, looking at this, yeah, that's right. Limman first. Crossrail 2 is built before HS2 Eastern Leg, then you'll be livid. Yeah, for sure. Tim Balance saying composite products are not recyclable in the long run. Yeah, but we don't... Yes, but OLE masts, we don't really want to be recycling those at any point anyway. So, yes. So here's some Crossrail 2 stuff. This is fun. Look at this. It's fun. It's fun. Do you want me to? Shall I just clear it for anyone who wants to just nerd onto it without my scribbles? They are. You can screenshot that and use it. There's a nice high-res picture available on Twitter and in the PDF plans for the British Library as part of its abeyance proposals. Right. So enough of that. Yes, this is good. Look at this. So, Harry and Ted. Hi, Harry and Ted. You subscribe to me on you follow me on Twitter, which possibly means, I guess, you watch Rail Natter. Harry, and hi, Ted. Hi, Harry Main, and hi, Ted Booth. They've done a nice document. Basically, the headline here is watch Rail Natter fix problems, because, obviously. Yes, do that, because if you watch Rail Natter, you feel empowered to fix problems. And indeed, these two have done just that. They've compiled a 13-page document talking about why trams should return to Dundee. And it's great. The Courier link doesn't work anymore because it's a premium article. And although you should pay for premium, you can't pay for premium for every single individual local newspaper. So I wasn't going to read the full thing. And I think it got popular, so they put it onto premium. Anyway, chaps, lovely work, top work, local heroes. It's all good stuff. Very pleased. Campaign for the North East Rail says they're fans of the campaign. Too right. Notice I'm sharing this as the North East Greens here, sharing the story. Yes, good stuff. I just bit my tongue. Yeah, good work. If you want to come on and talk about it as an episode, Ted and Harry, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Also, yeah, Kevin was in there. Yeah, Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Yeah. Dr. KT was in there as well, getting involved. Kevin, Dundonian. I visited Dundee a lot. I have a soft spot for Dundee. It's an awesome city. It's got so much potential. My middle brother used to get his teeth done. His orthodontist was in Dundee because Aberdeen didn't have any orthodontists. Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff. It's good. It's good. I'm pleased. It's nice to see them. I mean, it's not going anywhere because, but it's important to have. There's a difference between pointless, stupid crane easting and particularly young people putting forward opportunity, ideas of what the future could look like. There's a difference there. There's a and it's about. In fact, Kevin is exactly the person to talk to about what the difference between crayons and actually thinking about a proposal and talking about how it might work is. They're very different, very, very different. Maybe that's what the theme of the episode would be if we got Harry and Ted on. It'd be another three-way episode, which I found completely. CNR, you can come join. Yeah, fine. Yeah. There's plenty. We've got hundreds of episodes in the future until I snuff it. Yeah. What was I saying? Something about something, probably. Anyway, I was waffling and I interrupted myself mid-sentence and it's gone. Level boarding. New trains, same bad design. Yep, it's lovely new trains for the West Midlands. Good biscuits too, Dundee. Yeah, Dundee. I like Dundee. Yeah, orthodontist. Used to go to Dundee a lot. Yeah, the Discovery's there. It's great. And there's now a V&A there, which looks quite cool, although I'm not sure there's anything in it. Still very cool. Anyway, Dundee. Right, enough of Dundee. We've gone back to the West Midlands. Because here is a nice West Midlands train, and here is an absolutely enormous gap. This is the footstep here, this thing I've just outlined. And from here down to the platform here is an enormous gap. And this platform, I believe, is compliant. It's a compliant platform height. So that means that these steps, well, it's because it's standard. They're high floor trains. They're set to the same height that stagecoach floors were set to back in 300-400 years ago. So obviously they're way too high to ever allow level boarding. Why are we buying new trains that don't allow level boarding? It's absolutely doolally. And there's no, I mean, it's just so frustrating to see this. It's so frustrating. Anyway, yes. 40s, 50s gantries are still going because they're heftier than the GWEP kit. Yeah, absolutely, exactly. The cafe was nice, but the V&A was not a great visit in Dundee. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Bombard are still Alstom for this rubbish. Well, I don't know if this is Bombard Alstom. Are these the CAF ones? I think this may be a CAF one. This might be one of their the CAF derivatives. Both CAF and both CAF. Is that Delner coupler? Whatever. This you might be able to tell from the coupler. You might be able to tell from the front. The nose looks a bit CAF to me rather than a Bombardier one. Anyway, it's got that slight like 333 vibe to it, or 332, 333 vibe to it. Yeah, it is idiotic. Anyway, CAF and Bombardier do better. I've come and spoken to Bombardier. When Bombardier was still Bombardier, I spoke to them about this and said this is really important. And they said they are looking at the next fleet of trains that's not the Aventra. The trouble is that whilst all the people who I met and who work on building the trains are great, Bombardier themselves had no idea how to actually build trains in terms of... it is an Alstom. Okay, thanks Peter. Read my DMs, reflirts. What are people saying, reflirt? Oh, yeah, Simon. Yeah, I know. Yes, Simon, yes. These are... Oh, there we go. It's people are saying it's an Alstom. Other people are saying it's CAF. There we go. I'm gonna go with I think it's CAF. But others might say it's not. They might say it's an Alstom. I think they've cut anyway. Whatever. The important thing is it's a piece of junk. It's badly designed. Why is it designed to not let passengers onto it? That's the whole point of these trains. Yes. So. Oh yeah, hydrogen. This is an interesting article. An article in Recharge, and it's pointing out that it's a worthwhile one to pay attention to. Hydrogen is twice as powerful as a greenhouse gas as previously thought. Why is this important? And this is a UK government study, by the way. Oops. Why is this important? Because we're currently talking about using existing gas transmission networks for hydrogen, and hydrogen is quite little. Here we are. Here is a hydrogen molecule. There's a hydrogen molecule. Compare that to a molecule of methane. Let's do this. There's a methane one, and then let's do that, and then there's one, and then there's another one that's going to go at the back, and it's going to look like that. There we are. This is small. There we are. This is not far away. No, it's large. It's larger. As a result of this, if you have a pipe, here's a pipe with a little crack in the pipe. There's our pipe. Okay, so it doesn't really look that. Really, it's a little thing that might have a little crack like that in it. The things that might leak out, the amount of leaking CH4 that you'll get, or methane, is going to be a lot less than the amount of H2 that you're going to get. Lots of H2. This is bad because then it goes into the atmosphere and acts as a greenhouse gas. So hydrogen ain't the future. It's not a panacea. It may have carefully controlled applications for our long distance trains, the kind of long distance rural trains that we're not going to electrify for a long while. But it's really not a panacea. So Grant Shapps, stop suggesting all your trains are going to run with it. Bugger off. Anyway, there we go. That's fun, isn't it? Also, people talk about hydrogen. Absolutely, GemBot. Hydrogen corrosion. There are all sorts of issues with hydrogen that people aren't really talking about. Not the Zeppelin one. That isn't the Hindenburg issue. Is not. That's the one issue that isn't an issue. Anyway, so where are we going? Noel. Oh, Noel's back. Noel's back. Hello, Noel. Yeah, you're getting multiple mentions here. So Suzanne Rocket, who I want to get in from GB Rail Freight. Susanna Rocket. Can Susanna come and join us for Rail Natter? Because I want to talk about this map that Susanna put up here. This map here. It's a very good map. Here's Susanna. Good. This map here. It's not very. I'm rationing some pixels here, but it's a good map. So on the one hand, this one here is showing freight tonnages, or rather, it's daily freight trains here. And this is, as you might recognise, wires. And you'll see some fundamental gaps here. For example, there's some gaps here. There's a gap. That's a key gap. There's another gap here. Why is this not electrified? Major gap there. What else? Oh, yeah, this gap here. Why is this not electrified? This should be electrified. Some fundamental stuff of, like, why are these routes not electrified? Oh, and also, why is this not electrified? These should be electrified, folks. Also, why is let's have a look. Why are these not electrified? Why is this not electrified? And why is this not electrified? For like all of the huge volumes of Felixstowe to Nuneaton is the absolute biggest key one, yeah, for sure. For God's sake, double track and put wires up to Felixstowe, for goodness sake. Just chronic lack of vital electrification here that would solve so many problems. Yes, just for goodness sake, do these things. So yeah, really good map. I would love to get a high-res version of these to compare them because they're really nice. This one particularly. Also, what's interesting in this one is this would be interesting to input into Network 2050. I think there's somewhere we can. Oh dear. If there's somewhere we can do that. That'd be really nice. I don't know why. I don't know what this. I don't know why I put an accent on the 0 there. Network 2050. Will, if we can get hold of this data somehow from whoever's created this could be nice to shove into a data set. It'd be very nice. Right. So freight these wires. Oh, all that stuff that was being said about the EU being a blocker to... I mean, don't get me wrong, the EU and the European Parliament particularly are a major blocker to lots of good railway things, but the idea that they were a blocker to state aid ain't one of them, because the EU has very much said yes to continuing to support Italy's long-distance train operators with state aid, because, yeah, it's fine, it's a public service, it allows the country to move, fund public transport, fund fast trains, these are good things. Chris Bird, yeah, I think the movable Orlean depots is what we're going to get. Is indeed what we're going to get Noel in to talk about. Will Deacon, yeah, have a chat with Liam C. Yes, please, that'd be good. CNER, yep, green stuff is indeed Simon's patch. Anyway, lots of good stuff. Right, right. Ooh, it's noise. This is quite loud. We're in a train, but what are we seeing? What are we seeing? This is very loud. Sorry to everyone who's currently being deafened. Wait, it's so loud. I'm gonna reduce the volume of this quite a lot to like this. There we go. Let's. It's not worked. It's still really loud. Wait a minute. I can fix this. Temporarily. There. Let's just crank that Desco audio down. There we go. That's better. How's that? Is that better? Is it nice and clear? What are we gonna see though? Oh, one. Oh, look! It's an intermediate loco. What's it doing there? Ah! It's US style freight operations with an intermediate loco. Hooray! Look at this. There's another one which went through some mist. It's very, very. Look at that! Look at that! Intermediate loco. That's fun. It was actually running. Yeah. I don't think it was long for the ride. I think I saw a thing. I think wait. Genbot is saying it's not distributed traction. It's not loud. Good. I maybe made it so quiet that it went away. They are very battered. Oh, there's no sound now. It's fine. You don't need the sound. It was just too loud and it was deafening. Everyone was saying it was the sound. The sound was actually fine. Where is this video from? It's from. Where is it from? It's from Midland. Matty Midland, who shared it. Thanks, Matty. I think it is. So maybe this it's US style because it's diesel for starters. Absolutely. Under the wires, you'll notice as well. And also, Simon's in here. They have been trialling this. Deutsche Bahn have been trialling it. It is a thing. Basically, it is a thing. Richard Smith is saying it's not US style unless it's scattered suddenly across the busiest main line in the country. Yeah, for sure. The middle loco is dead in train, folks. Oh, okay. I thought they weren't doing it dead in train, though, because there was a news article about it. Freightliner did it first. It evens out the tension in the couplings. Oh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, right, there's a load of freight people in here. I know several people who are talking about freight right now who can answer your questions. Gregor's also, the couplers about UK freight use. I've been asked a lot about freight couplers, and I don't have a good answer to that, because I think there's just a load of knackered old knuckle couplers in most cases. I don't think there's nice modern stuff. Anyway, Genbot and Simon can talk about freight in the chat briefly while I move on to the next news article, which is that there's a new high-speed rail group report. Net Zero Voices. It's good, and it's got some Mel from Greens for HS2 says some things in it. It's a good piece. Go and we've just worked out how to summon all the freight people. It's true. The rulebook would need changing to allow distributed traction. Oh, it's so interesting. Couplers are internal knuckles, otherwise screw a buckeye. Oh, yeah. It's got this. This is a new report, and it's got more green on it, and it's a little bit talking shop. So I'm not going to go through it. But there's loads of good data in there for you to pull out, and there's some nice quotes about what HS2 can provide and what high-speed rail more broadly can provide. So there's some good stuff. I'm going to give it a big rail natter thumbs up. There's my thumbnail thumbs up. There's some my knuckles. It's a big thumbs up. See, so I've done a thumbs up. Anyway, enough of that. Oh, our special boy, our special boy. Do you remember Grant Shapps, everyone? Do you remember that guy? He's the transport minister. He's the Secretary of State for Transport, rather. This is the most pitiful little tweet here. As I told Parliament, this is his tweet, we are seriously considering our relationship with P&O ferries. Sacking 800 workers without warning, seafarers who throughout the pandemic kept our critical goods like medicine and PPE flowing, is a disgrace to our world-leading sector. This is a story in 3 parts. That's part 1. Part 2 is back in 2013. So that was in 2022. Back in 2013, the quote was, "We need to make it easier for firms to sack workers," claims Conservative Chairman Grant Shapps. That's part 2. And part 3 is, given that the rail industry was fundamental to moving, medicines and PPE around the country, here is, in 2021, rail industry puts service and job cuts on the line amid warnings that government support is not unlimited, because, of course, the rail industry is having huge cuts inflicted upon it. So, good grief. Anyway, I just the brazen hypocrisy, the nastiness of it, and actually, it's kind of maybe a story in 4 parts, because what's funnier is that he's not just callous; he is also stupid. Because Grant Shapps and Kwasi Kwarteng wrote strongly worded letters to someone who resigned as the P&O chair on December 2021. Really knocked that out of the park there, lads. Top work. As Richard Smith says, how dare the leopards I let out of the zoo eat a face that the public cares about? Yeah, quite. Oh, in bigger news, that's kind of over the top of everything. It's not going well, folks. This is Antarctica, with a temperature anomaly of enormous, minus 10. So that's a 40-degree increase in the temperature that it should be at that time of year. I'm interested to see whether this went down or whether it's sort of bouncing around like this. in any case, that's a lot of extra water that's currently being splashed into our oceans from melt that we're probably not then going to freeze again. Rather scary. Good grief. So, yeah, just as a reminder of what's going on. Good grief. Oh, and there's some fun things to get as we're getting towards the end of the episode. Don't worry, folks, we're nearly there. Philip Haig, always keeping us on our toes and keeping an eye on things. I follow his tweets, and whenever Phil tweets, I will keep an eye on it because he does tweet useful stuff all the time. So it's well worth kind of subscribing to follow his tweets when they ping up. What to make of the DFT slipping out a correction slip to its integrated rail plan? Another correction, I wonder. In this example, of many corrections they've released, by the way, which I think we should do as an episode, go through those. This particular example of a correction increases the integrated rail plan's Birmingham to Leeds journey time from 67 to 89 minutes. Oh, whoops. So to just break that out a bit, there's some corrections there. Figure 4 graph. There we are. The text currently reads Birmingham to Leeds 67. Text should be amended to say Birmingham to Leeds 79 to 89. So, yeah. Oopsies. This isn't good, is it? So where are we? Let's go Leeds. Birmingham to Leeds. This one here. Yeah, not great, is it? Because this is the kind of key justifications in their internal brain mathematics of whether they should or should not be cancelling the Eastern leg. Anyway, fantastic, great stuff. Slightly more sobering reminder of fatal derailments is the Sandylands tram crash. The Office of Rail and Road are prosecuting. Okay, they're a lot of it went kind of led with the driver, but the Office of Rail and Road are prosecuting. They're prosecuting TfL. They're prosecuting Tram Operations Limited, which is sort of the nominal operator, which, let's face it, should basically just needs to be got rid of and brought into TfL, and the tram driver Alfred Doris. So all of them are getting prosecuted by the ORR over the crash. The crash happened because of a microsleep, but the crash happened because of a microsleep. But actually, microsleeps don't happen by accident. They don't just happen because of drivers. There are successive issues of microsleeps and of fatigue, driver fatigue happening. And so I think that again, you can't just lump it on the driver. There are reasons that driver was tired. That needs to be looked into. There are multiple issues as a result of this, talking about being tired. People are talking about I don't think this is a proofreading issue. I think it's a deliberate error. They didn't correct the omission of HS2 East or Northern Paris Rail, sadly, says David Frankel. Well, absolutely, David, yeah. The French flight ban is happening from now. It's happened, just in case anyone was wondering. Anything that is less than a 2.4 hour train journey, is that right? The French government in April this year will stop short flights to destination that could be reached by a 2.5 hour train journey. Basically, it's not perfect, but they've got rid of a lot of domestic flights because they have a high-speed rail network. Isn't that useful? I wonder if we could do something like that. Oh yeah, let's get rid of my face. Stop talking about fucking light bulbs. Why am I saying this? Why am I getting angry about light bulbs? Sorry if there are any kids watching. Sorry, kids. It's not the words you use; it's the way you use them. And why are we? So, for God's sake, the people who are talking about the railway, about how expensive it is for the railway to change a light bulb, get a grip. Get a grip of the bigger picture here, which is that rail cuts are happening at an enormous scale, and trivial little cuts to things that, don't get me wrong, it'd be great if we could get rid of stupid outsourcing so we can replace light bulbs for cheaper. Great, yeah, that'd be good. But do you know how important that is at the grand scheme of things? It isn't. It isn't important at all. What is important is shouting and screaming about the fact the rail industry has been cut to within an inch of its life. So maybe don't concentrate on things like light bulbs, and do concentrate on things like massive swinging cuts to rail services. So, yes, just good grief. And yes, I'm subtweeting a large number of people in that instance, not just one or two people. There are a few people who've been obsessed by this utter rot. Just honestly, get a grip. Get a grip. Very frustrating. Anyway, what else is going on that makes me angry? Oh yeah, this guy. Just worth saying that. yeah, Elon Musk is an evil man, and Tesla is bad. Tesla is a fundamentally bad company. Yes, they do make cars that are cheaper and have longer lasting, longer range and stuff. But is it worth it? Because, this is a, Elon Musk is currently being taken to court. He doesn't like. This is why he's trying to buy Twitter, is because people shout at him on Twitter, and he likes being on Twitter, and he doesn't like being shouted at. But it started with one Tesla employee speaking out. There was a dozen, then it was 100, then it was 900. Today, over 4,000 black workers at Tesla are taking on Elon Musk and taking them to court because, just pointing out, Tesla had essentially had segregated working spaces for black workers, right? This is an evil man, and this is a company that is a very, very bad company with like very nasty and I wonder why apartheid Emerald guy is doing apartheid in his factories. I wonder. Anyway, it's a Los Angeles Times article, goes into good detail about it, but there's plenty you can look up. And if there's any way you can support, if there's a crowdfunding for this, then absolutely go and support it. Give the legal, support their legal fees to make sure that this goes as far as it can. Oh yes, this is exciting news because ScotRail has nabbed its trains back. ScotRail's trains are now officially, as of the start of this month, ScotRail is Scottish. It's the trains. I mean, to all intents and purposes, it was before anyway. Let's face it, because ScotRail Abellio had been kind of gobbled up, or not gobbled up, but they were running under sort of a concession model anyway. But bye Simon, bye. We'll be finished soon, but yes, bye Simon. See you soon. Oh yes. So yeah, ScotRail, they've done it. The Scottish government has taken ScotRail back into public ownership. It's happened, which is exciting, isn't it? What else is in the news? More data. This is delicious data here. Again, Will, let's get this into Network 2050. 2050. Question mark. Well, yes, let's do that. Which is published statistics about counts of vehicles. So this was interesting because it came off the back of a lot of people saying, there was a very stupid tweet that came out saying, people in London, they don't know that actually, outside of London, everyone actually has to, there's actually a lot of people who need cars, so actually people should understand that you need a car if you live outside of London. You actually need a car, and this data is fantastic for that because it breaks down and shows very nicely how many cars there are per domestic property, and points out very much that look at these urban areas. There's less. That's also in the valleys. That's because of deprivation, by the way. Poorest part of the UK. Look at that. Also, some of these areas are some of the poorest parts of the UK as well. Look at the car ownership, very low. I wonder why that might be. Low car ownership. Low car ownership. Look, some of these really poor parts of up in the northeast as well. Low car ownership. Hull. Low. I wonder why all these places have low. It's because in urban areas. Yeah, that's right. It's because if you have public transport, people can. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, good. So what we're saying is given that generally people in the countryside are better off. There are some exceptions, actually. This is one of the areas that's probably an exception. But let's get rid of this. Yeah, places that are less well off don't have higher car ownership. And yes, there's lots of like correlation rather than causation here. But the point is that generally poorer people live in urban areas and car ownership is less in those urban areas. So stupid idiot who was like, oh yeah, look at the London region that's got low car ownership, but everywhere else it's got, people need the car. It's like, no, the rural areas, it's because of the aggregation of London as a region compared to like the region map kind of looked like this. It was like this. And it was like, yeah, no wonder it's not really like that. It's kind of similar to that. It's like, yeah, no wonder those other regions, because those other regions can contain both rural and urban areas, whereas the London one is just like an urban area. So it's pretty obvious why car ownership is less in London than elsewhere. It was a bad use of statistics. Anyway, I don't know who this car-obsessed guy is that I'm referring to. But anyway. Yes, this was some very nice data that we're going to gobble up. Delicious, delicious data. Yum, yum. Oh yeah, RIA have published they did a little press release. In fact, they've done a couple recently. They did one after the Trains Fit for the Future report on decarbonising rail, after which obviously nothing. Oh, let's bring my face back up. Let's get my little face. Hello, I'm in the corner, getting angry. So Transport Select Committee have published their Trains Fit for the Future report, which government has just ignored, obviously. Sadly, government just ignores everything that they don't like to look at, or indeed things that they might even like to look at. They ignore everything because they're obnoxious. But they're also the RNEP, the rail, what is it? The Railway National, the enhancements pipeline, rail network enhancements pipeline. Basically, the big pipeline that should be talking about the strategy of what's going to be delivered hasn't been updated for, I think it's 800 days now. Just absolutely horrendous. And you can see here, let's zoom in on their nice pictures. So, hi to RIA, hi everyone at RIA, hi Max, hi David, hi the whole crew. Why is this not moving forwards? Forwards, please. Yes, thank you. So, of these 12 asks that are in here, these are their reviews, and they're giving a rating. Publish a long-term strategy. They're being polite when they have published an amber. Wait a minute. Amber means some progress, but no, yeah. So, amber. So basically, the only things where there's any progress. So there's no progress on publishing a long-term strategy. No progress on securing, or they're saying amber because they're referring to the TDNS. But anyway, funding necessary for long-term decarbonisation program. Oh, nope. Implement an enhanced financial mechanism beyond the RNEP. Commit to a 30-year program of electrification projects. Well, they've put amber, but let's face it. Network Rail and ORR continue to explore potential for an extension in third rail electrification. That hasn't happened. Number 6, publish the list of no-regret electrification schemes. Hydrogen trains are fully incorporated into the hydrogen strategy. They have been, with a paragraph. Hooray. Number 8, set out how it will support the growth of UK battery industry. Hooray, they've done that. The long-term rail decarbonisation strategy must explain how the development of alternative technology will be reviewed. That hasn't happened. Ensure there is a single cross-modal freight decarbonisation target, including rail and rail. Nope, they haven't done that. Number 11, the decarbonisation strategy sets out how R&D will be supported and properly funded. Well, they have done that because this government does like R&D because it's something that's easily private sectorable. Number 12, set out how it will ensure that trains meet the legal requirement to be fully accessible. This is good. Glad about this. Haven't done that. Nothing to do with that. So there we go. Hopeless. Master Trams just correct me. It's not 800 days. It's 900 days. Just 900 days since the RNET was published. Last updated. 900 days since it was last updated. How absolutely shocking. So, yeah, government, hopeless. Oh, I think we're ending on this. So, if you want cheering up, there we go. Loopy Hype ain't dead yet because some grifters, some tax avoidance scheme runners, legally we cannot say that they are necessarily tax avoidance schemes, but they definitely are. Transpod Inc. We are thrilled to share that Transpod has confirmed, has it? $550 million finance for the construction of a Canadian line connecting Edmonton and Calgary. Oh dear. There was so much to unpick here. Firstly, I think it was like $550 million is enough to pay for probably 11 kilometers of this. Probably about 11 kilometers of it. What's 550 divided by 50? No. Yeah. 50 times 10 is 500, plus 50 is 11. So yeah, 11 kilometers. This is fine. 11 kilometers. 11 kilometers of this. So the distance between Edmonton and Calgary is not 11 kilometers. I believe it's quite a lot. It's more than that, folks. It's quite a lot more than that. Yeah, this is nonsense. This is just total nonsense. It's also worth reminding ourselves saying this project will create 140,000 new jobs. What? And add 20 billion, well, 19 billion, to Alberta's GDP. What? While reducing travel times. Well, yeah. Now, let's remind ourselves. Why do these things... Oh, I've got me slides the wrong way around. Let me correct the order of my slides. There we are. I fixed the problem, folks. Why do these things get the traction they do? Why do they get the traction they do? Well, it's because of this. It's my old rubbish sketch. Oh, do not... Everyone should know you do not share the monorail GIF as a response to this stuff. You do not share the monorail GIF to this stuff. You share threads that I've done under Loopy Hype. You find stuff like... you link evidence. Do not link and because you trivialize it and you make it a funny joke. It's not a funny joke, folks. If £550 million of public money has just been spent on this bollocks, that's not a joke. That's not a funny joke. That's very, very bad. And the issue is that some people are like pigs and shit. They get obsessed with the abilities of the technology, and then the company. If you look at that tweet, it was talking about the 140,000 new jobs, and the 20 billion to GDP and improving travel times. Yeah, they're talking about the market demand. They're just saying what would happen if you did anything. They're not saying that there's no... So they can talk about, the technology is wonderful, it's amazing, it's wonderful, these wonderful technological, wonderful whiz-jigs. And they say, it'll be, there'll be this much benefit to the economy and this many jobs from if you do fast things. And this goes round and round and round and round and round, while no one talks about the fact that you'll transform the grand total of shit all with a system that has no capacity, which is what Hyperloop is. So this is the game they play. They get everyone to talk about the technology, and they do big glossy reports, talk about market demand, whilst no one talks about the actual capacity of the system, which is to do nothing. Anyway, there you go. But it has a snazzy renderite-looking thing that looks snazzy and rendered, and appears to be glass with solar panels on top. It's rubbish. It's poop. It's a load of rubbish, folks. Absolute rubbish. But it's not dead yet, so yes. Ugh, my goodness me. Anyway, right, enough of this. We're nearly at the end of the episode. Let me get rid of my face and then swiftly move us on to the outro for this. Available on all good podcasting platforms. I normally post it up on time, hopefully. It's been a pleasure to have you all along for the ride. 125 of you or whatever were joining us. Lovely to see you all. Hello, I'm waving, but I'm not on little face, so you can't see it. What else is there to say? I've got some interesting announcements, so don't run off quite yet. Patreon.com/GarethDennis for the Patreon. Masket.co.uk/collection/railnatter for the merch. The PayPal.me/GarethDennis for throwing pennies at me if you do so wish to do so. And GarethDennis.co.uk/Discord for the Discord server. Yes, the Discord server, where the chat that's been happening continues to happen. For anyone all right, okay, I'm going to go... actually, before we do a thing like... John Stone, hello, John, friend of the show. A little tweet that he did here. The reason I've shared this tweet is because it's John Stone sharing his we definitely need to abolish the Treasury mug. Go buy the abolish the Treasury mug. It's a thing of beauty. Look at this. It's a thing of beauty. Look at this lovely mug with a nice cup of delicious looking tea in it. Yes, do it. Anyway, right, so there's that. What else? Oh yes, I have to talk about Rate My Buffers, don't I? Thanks everyone for Rate My Buffers happening and making this happen. It's very silly, but it's also good fun. It's very silly, but I've been enjoying it, and I'm so far behind already. There are like 70 sat in my drafts in Twitter, in the Twitter app. Let's hope the app doesn't do it. Let's hope I don't accidentally empty the cache, because I'll lose all those drafts, and it'll be a disaster for me knowing where I'm at with all the buffers that I have not rated. But if you think it's fun, then thanks. There's all sorts of other people who are wanting spin-offs to come off that. We'll see. What else? Yes, the North in Numbers podcast. I was on this podcast and it was great. It was a really good podcast. Thanks to Anna for doing it. It was really Annie. Thanks to Annie for hosting. It was really good. It's a really nice piece. I talk a lot in it. Go and listen to the North in Numbers. I'll put a link in the description. Remind me to do that if I don't do it. But it's a good podcast. It talks about leveling up and what it actually practically means on the ground. There's some positive stuff. There's some data driven. It's all data driven. There's some really good people talking about education. It's a really good episode. Yes, tomorrow a thing is happening. Folks. Yes, that's right. Which will be hashtag... I didn't realise this was going to be the hashtag. I thought the hashtag was going to be hashtag Explore Station, but they did a great station. But anyway, fine, because I'm going to subvert the thing anyway. Hashtag Great British Station. We're taking a tour of the country's beloved station. There's going to be this is going to be happening on Twitter. It's going to be people are going to be talking about their favourite train stations, or in my case, will it be the favourite train station? Who knows? Because tomorrow I shall be posting a little ticket like this, talking about what station is the station I want to talk about in this whole thing, and I'll do a little thread explaining it, and explaining why I think it's important, and it's all relevant to a future episode that we'll be doing as well, so it's all tied in there. But Yes, so that's happening tomorrow. Stay tuned for some tweets. And indeed, you can get involved, particularly on Instagram, but also on Twitter. You can find these images that they've done. They've done some. The Design Council have done some nice images. If you search, if you search hashtag Explore Station or hashtag Great British Station, you'll pick up these. And I'm going to tweet under this hashtag, and we'll hopefully. There's lots of organisations. I think I'm one of only a couple of humans who are actually going to be doing this kind of pre-organised little thing to be doing this. It's not paid, but it's like I'm definitely collaborating as part of a bit of a push. But it's part of the if you remember, there was that like unified design of a potential station thing that was being talked about, and we're going to have to do some more do some more. There's a future episode about this as well, but they're doing more about it, and they're trying to get people to get involved and talk about what's important for stations. And I think it's important. It's the Design Council leading on this stuff, and I think it's important to get people talking about what's important for stations. But I want to be talking about the fact that yes, stations are important, they're absolutely critical, in fact, but they're no good if there are no trains running through them. So fundamentally, frequency is freedom. We'll get there. And then next week, of course, will be part 3 of our look at the final report at Carmen. So we're going to be it'll be the last episode of this 3-parter, I think, but we shall be going through and kind of looking at crashworthiness primarily, but looking at kind of generally across the other things, and we'll kind of wrap up as well. We'll do a bit of a wrap up and remind ourselves what was going on. But that's next week. I'm going to do Big Face briefly because there was a question. Any questions you've got with the stuff we've covered? I don't know how interactive I've been with the chat. Hello, everyone in the chat. You've been wonderful. But there was a question. Imagine that the like button is in fact Grant Shapps' nose, and you're just prodding it repeatedly when you push the like button. So do that. Someone asked. I can't see it because I'm not sure they added me in. Someone asked about capacity. Lynn's got. Bye, Lynn. I think you went already. Asked about capacity, system capacity. Capacity is just the number of seats each vehicle carries, multiply the number of vehicles per hour can go through the system. And for Hyperloop, any Hyperloop system, it's very, very low, like hilariously, catastrophically low, which means that you can't transform anything if the system capacity is low. So, for example, the system capacity of like a Hyperloop system is like 1,000, 2,000. The system capacity of like a high-speed rail system is 20,000. So you're talking about like 10 times more capacity at least. Anyway, right. Let's make my face disappear. And in fact, let's not make my face disappear because I'm going to give you all a cheerio because it's the end of the episode. I have recovered from COVID, everyone, yes. That's the 2 questions. Jordan's saying, have I? Yes, I have. 2, how am I getting with the thing? I need to try and record the whole lot in one go so the audio is not too different, so that it's not a nightmare for you to rebalance the audio. So I half finished it and then I got distracted. So I need to go back and just read all the bits out again. But I will do it. I'll do it, Jordan. I promise. I'll be back to you. Anyway, right. Let's do this thing. Everyone, it's 1:30. It was an hour and a half episode. I thought it was going to be a short one. Cheerio! I'm so hungry. Cheerio, 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 cheerio.